Vito just got edgy on us today, Gail. A very surprising opening to the song. But I love the Andy Dupree line.
Thank you,
Big
Ron.
Veets.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Big Veets taking it out there as far as he can. All right, it is the Bennington Show. Hanging out with you today. It's a Tuesday in this new world of ours because the quarantine wasn't enough. Let's just keep pushing it further and further and further every day to make the world even weirder. But we're here with you, hanging out, and hope that you're safe and doing okay through these crazy times. You know something, Gail? I saw what happened on TV yesterday in Washington, D.C., and I was literally shocked to see people holding up shields that said military police and wade into the crowd like that so that a man could come out and have his picture taken in front of a church. And I'm like, what am I seeing? Has everything changed today? And then 15 minutes later after that, I'm like, or was that just a publicity stunt? It's almost like you can't tell. And I remember like reading history books where like, where are these people's heads at that they were okay up to this point? But now I can see how confusing it all is and how nutty it all is. But I honestly thought when this whole weird thing started with the pandemic, I thought this is really going to bring people together. And oddly, it's just the opposite.
Yeah, yesterday I think that, you know, when we had talked about the surreal nature of everything that's been going on, nothing could have seemed more like you were hovering above your body and you were like, am I watching a TV show about somebody watching this on the news?
You know, I got a text from a friend who said, hey, Trump's going to speak, turn on the news. Because I forget what I was doing. I was watching something else. And I just switched over and I thought, this is the first time he's and then right after that, I go, you mean if I didn't even get that text, I would have been free of all this weirdness of seeing these kids getting chased by cops on horses and the whole weirdness? And then, of course, you know, what went on at the church and, it's a Bible. I mean, it was just, if you're on either side of the political spectrum, you got to be like, what the fuck are we doing? You know,
Yeah.
Where's the adults right now?
Yeah, I also thought a lot yesterday about what this may look like to a country on the outside. Because oftentimes Americans are looking at other countries and going, can you believe how bad they botched this up? Can you believe, what a ridiculous situation they've put themselves in? And I also think about how, Americans look at other countries. They see unrest, they see violence, they see poverty, they see unsafe conditions, and then we go, why don't they just leave? What is wrong with them?
Know.
Why don't they just get out of there? And I was like, that's what they're thinking about us right now.
That's what I'm thinking about us. Did you see Trudeau yesterday when he was asked, what do you think about America?
I didn't see him.
Oh, my God. It is so uncomfortable. So he's doing this thing, and they go, what do you think about what's going on in America? And he was dumbfounded. He sat there for 22 seconds of dead air. And it was so uncomfortable. And I'm watching it, and I'm going like this. Say something, please. Give us some good advice. Today is, is it Blacked Out Tuesday? Is that the name of it, Gail?
Yeah, I think I heard it say Blackout Tuesday or Tuesday Blackout.
Yeah.
Heard both.
Again, we need to pull everything together. And then the music channels here are going to have 3 minutes of dead air at, I believe, 3 o'clock, and we're gonna join in with them. The whole solidarity thing, and that's at 3 o'clock today. I think we probably ought to come out of it playing like a really cool song or a good song or some kind of like a touching song. I'd love to do that. What about the Doobie Brothers taking it to the streets? Nah, no one understands the beginning of that song. With my wrong. Michael McDonald had maybe the best voice with no, is it elocution? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
You can never understand him.
Yeah. What about Fight the Power?
Again, I mean, that's Earl's generation. And you know how old Earl is now. Also, you want to talk about tone deaf. I get a thing from Chris today. Well, first of all, let's go. We booked somebody on the show today that I don't remember saying yes to. And now Chris has moved it around and because Gail was like, I don't remember saying yes to this. So now Chris has moved it around to, I just asked Ron, but Gail wasn't there. So he knows he's got me. You know what I mean? Like, he knows that I don't have enough faith in things that I agree or disagree with. So I'm like, Chris, could you call them back and let them know what's going on? And it might come across a little bad to be pushing this light product during this time. And so then he writes yesterday, yeah, I brought it up to him, and they're completely okay with it. And I'm like, this is probably not the best day for that. And then today, he just lets me know before the show. Yeah, they thought they woke up today and saw everything that's going on, so they'd like to reschedule.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the current temperature right now.
Yeah. It is. It's hard to go around regular. It's hard to go around regular stuff. It's hard to figure out what to do. It's very, very strange. I mean, if you would have told me what we saw yesterday would have went down, and it probably, if you would have told me that we could have knocked the coronavirus off the front page, I would have been shocked 2 weeks ago.
Yes, 100%. There's that. And, that. Remember that feeling when we were talking about the coronavirus and you're like, oh, at this point, nothing could shock me. Nothing could stun me. Nothing could, have me jaw dropped right now. And then it turns out, yes, it really could.
And also here in New York, it's the governor and the mayor are fighting back and forth, and neither one of them gets along with the president. I mean, we're really in a weird place, and it's going to take cooler heads, of course. The looting made it to my neighborhood last night, so everybody on the street's pretty excited about that.
That's cool.
Liquor store got looted or something happened to it. And then they said, and this was on the other side of town, really. I mean, well, it was blocks away from where everything was happening last night. But the looters grabbed some liquor, jumped into a BMW, and whipped up 3rd Avenue. And I'm like, these are just some guys going, hey, with all this shit going down, maybe we can go get some free liquor.
I mean, those aren't protesters. Those are just people who are thirsty, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the issue is you got to stop leaving those pallets of bricks out. I don't know why you guys keep doing that.
I really don't know if that's true or not either. I have no idea. You can't trust anything that you see online.
I know, it's so weird. The pallets of bricks keep being brought up in multiple cities, and it is very strange.
And yet, I don't see that on the mainstream. Is it? I don't think it's ever made the mainstream news. You can't tell.
No.
I mean,
No.
you know, after I saw all of us on the Death Star, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah. I mean, did that happen?
I think so. According to Chris, I agreed to it. Also, I understand that Jim and Sam were talking about us today. Chris was up, and you know he's at the washboard, and he likes to turn on the radio and relax.
Of course, yeah.
What did they have to say, Chris?
They were watching that looting video that's on our Instagram from yesterday, and they were saying that, Ron, you look like quite a snack. That's what Sam said. That's a good thing.
Oh, is it? I'll say what HR thinks, whether that's a good thing or not.
You don't have to take that. If it makes you uncomfortable, you should say it.
I'm very uncomfortable. Because of Sam Roberts, I haven't been able to walk into that building for 3 months.
You shouldn't be called a snack if you don't feel like one.
And here's the other stress and strain with this. How am I going to keep the weight off anyway? You know what I mean? Like, now am I going to be taking heat the second it starts to come back on?
I know, that's the pressure. That's the pressure of weight loss. I mean, sometimes you lose weight and you're just like, why did I do this? What, am I going to have to live like this forever?
I'm living like a Kardashian, but the tiny one, the conservative one, who nobody can understand until she scratched her sister.
I'm living
It's
like the one with a new head.
I like that one, too. I really think
brand
she
new
looks
head.
better. Yeah.
Yeah,
I finally got
so
attracted to her. Yeah. I finally started to go, I'm seeing it now. Some of these comments on here. And this daddy talk. I hope that keeps up. That's a good one.
Why, yes, I am a father. Very proud.
I also find it odd that men will talk about weight loss now. That never used to happen. You know what I mean? I could see if women would bring it up.
Like, not even noticing it, but they also have like a lot of opinions on like how it's done. Like, they want to get into it with you.
Yeah, it's weird.
By the way, one of
but I'm your bro.
by the way, one of those comments was from Melissa Ann, and she said, she added me and said, let me holla at your dad real quick. Damn. You know, I gave her a like, so I hope she treats that as my blessing.
Let me holla at your dad real quick. What are you, pimping me out now? I'm a man of a certain age.
She was trying to be respectful. The way you used to ask for a father's blessing.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy times. Crazy fucking times. Vito, let's play the bishop after this is the bishop of that church in DC after Trump sent his military police into the park to stop what was a very peaceful demonstration of what looked like college kids and families and everything like that. And this is the bishop, and then so that he could walk over to this church, hold up a Bible, not his Bible, but a Bible.
A Bible. Yeah.
Hold it up like possibly the first time he's ever held a Bible before. And get his picture taken and then force everybody to come over and stand next to him. Although his daughter didn't do it. She walked out with him, which,
right.
You know, for all you people who think that, you know, her and Melania are somehow doing something different, no. And And then I saw Tucker mad at them last night. And I'm like, at a certain point, I think when I woke up this morning, I'm like, I really don't know if I can keep trying to keep up with this stuff. But
it's exhausting.
This is the bishop and what she had to say. And this is moments after, because apparently no one from Trump's team called the church and let them know that this was going to happen.
God.
How long is this, Vito? Do you know?
It's about 2.5 minutes.
All right, I think this is worth giving a listen to. Let's check it out.
I want to thank you for letting me be on this, be part of this conversation. Let me be clear. The president just used a Bible, the most sacred text of the Judeo-Christian tradition, and one of the churches of my diocese, without permission, as a backdrop for a message antithetical to the teachings of Jesus and everything that our churches stand for. And to do so, as you just said, he sanctioned the use of tear gas by police officers in riot gear to clear the churchyard. I am outraged. The president did not pray when he came to St. John's, nor, as you just articulated, did he acknowledge the agony of our country right now, and in particular that of the people of color in our nation, who wonder if anyone in public power will ever acknowledge their sacred worth, and who are rightfully demanding an end to 400 years of systemic racism and white supremacy in our country. And I just want the world to know that we in the Diocese of Washington, following Jesus and his way of love, we distance ourselves from the incendiary language of this president. We follow someone who lived a life of nonviolence and sacrificial love. We align ourselves with those seeking justice for the death of George Floyd and countless others through the sacred act of peaceful protest. And I just can't believe what my eyes had seen tonight.
You had no idea he was going to do that?
I had no idea. I was watching the news with everyone else, and as you might imagine, I have been fielding out just phone calls and emails and texts of outrage from my people and from people across the country wondering what on earth did we just witness. I hear everything else that has been said tonight, but I was allowed to eavesdrop on the first part of your conversation, which is equally significant in terms of the symbolism of our civic institutions. But what I am here to talk about is the abuse of sacred symbols for the people of faith in this country to justify language, rhetoric, an approach to this crisis that is antithetical to everything we stand for.
One of the reasons you want to get everybody on board before you do a photo op. It was a crazy day yesterday.
You know, I forgot this strange moment. Did you remember towards the end of this speech, he was very unclear. He didn't say where exactly he was going or the name of the church. He's like, now I'm going to go to this beautiful place that I want to have some tribute to. Like, he kept saying, I'm going to a beautiful place. And it was, he walked off the podium and everyone was just going, wait, where is he going? Where is this beautiful place? It was so strange.
I thought it was going to be like the Lincoln Memorial or, the World War II. I mean, he's got a lot of secular memorials that he could have shown up with that, basically the government has control over. And he went to a place where he doesn't. And while she was talking, man, I was just stunned. I also, I try to follow when something's going on, all three of the big news commentary channels. So I was just like, how is this playing? Is everybody as freaked out as me? And when I got to that one, I just wanted Don Lemon to say to the bishop, so God must be dead? Is that where we are right now, do you think? That somehow he had a heart attack and it's over?
Are we really being looked after right now?
obviously, you know, we've gotten far away from all the stuff that we're trying to do. Everybody has gotten far away from it, and it's very, very, it's very, very sad. But I guess expected as well. You know what I mean? I guess when we look back at our own history, there's always some confusion about this stuff. Maybe it's a birth. Maybe this is what we're doing. Maybe we'll come out of this and do something a little better. Who knows? But today at 3 o'clock, all the music stations on Sirius XM are going dark for 3 minutes. And we're going to do the same thing with them. Probably will clear everything up after that, I believe. You know what I mean? I think after that, everybody will come together.
Yes, that's true.
That and, of course, Blackout Tuesday are the two things that... there's a piece up on the iBang of how many comics have joined in on the Blackout Tuesday. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, if you look around, most people are good. They really are. Most people are good. And most people are finding themselves in this stunned kind of middle right now, waiting for some light that they could head towards. And most of the time, Gail, I think it takes a poem to bring people together. And I've written a new one. I've written a new one, yeah. And all I ask for is that people accept this in the manner that it was written. Because I feel like I'm just a vessel right now. You know what I mean? I'm a vessel for this creativity. You might want to jot this down as I say it, because I feel like it's going to live on for a long time. Okay. I'm sorry, what was that sound when I'm about to do my big poem?
Sorry, my phone just made a weird sound.
Oh, that's good for everybody. You want to put your phones on mute while I read my poem.
Right.
First they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then things returned to normal. Thank God I had the patience to wait this out. Thank you.
First part seemed familiar. It just seems like the end kind of took a swerve I wasn't really expecting.
A friendly swerve?
I don't know if it was friendly so much as inaccurate.
Is it almost like getting hit with a lightning bolt of truth and letting you know that it's best to be on the sidelines and staying quiet?
Yeah, I don't know if, I mean, I guess that is what it's saying. I just don't know if that's what we should say.
You know what? You just gave me a great idea. I'm going to name that poem, No One Got Tackled on the Sidelines. You know what I mean? The one guy who does not end up on the injured reserve is the guy on the sidelines. And that way, if the coach says, I need you in the game, go like this. Not today, Bubba.
Yeah, that's always been a very comfortable place for white people. We feel very good on these sidelines.
Let's not divide ourselves right now. Let's see ourselves. There's only one race, okay? And that's the you man race, not the you woman race.
Good point.
Yeah.
I should not be chiming in on this.
All right, you want to hear somebody else who's tone deaf? What about our own Chris Stanley, who fucking said to me today, on Blacked Out Tuesday or Tuesday Blackout or Blackout Tuesday. I can't get the right name down, but he goes to me, I got a bread bros. I go, who wants to deal with bread bros today?
Chris.
I thought people might want something to take their minds off of everything that's going on right now. And so a little bit of bread content never hurt anyone.
Yeah, it does. On the Blackout Day that we put up a video of you once again doing your Tom Papa impression. There was also a thing that, you know how Chris has been wearing his pineapple Hawaiian shirt. Now they're saying the alt-right groups are wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Oh,
Come on!
God. This has been a dog whistle the whole time, hasn't it?
No, this is bullshit. First off, the goddamn alt-right and white supremacist groups take away Pei the Frog, which fucking I loved, and is not a racist fucking thing. And now they're taking fucking Hawaiian shirts? What else? What's next? Montreal Expos hats?
Yeah, hipster.
That's what they'll take next. I still want it clarified. I know that you say Pepe, but it feels like his name should be Pepe.
It is Pepe.
It has to be Pepe the Frog, right?
Pepe is said by alt-right incels.
No.
Oh, that's why.
That's also a dog whistle. You know what? A dog whistle should be the way that chicks pick up Chris.
I just want to be able to dress how I want and not be misconstrued as a racist. That's all.
You're saying you're oppressed, Chris? Is the timing for that right?
No, I'm just saying I like to wear frog shirts and pineapple shirts. There's no message behind it. Whatever I do, you know.
You're keeping up with all the social networks, right, Chris?
Yes.
Which one is leading with these videos that are going around? The street videos.
I think TikTok has it's pretty much TikTok versus Twitter with the most of these videos being passed around, and they're in a dead heat.
Now, I remember when it wasn't a little while ago that you were saying TikTok was just children dancing or yelling at their parents, and now they're the leading news people.
That's what I'm seeing on there. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, for the longest time, as TikTok was becoming more and more popular, it was just attractive people dancing and doing various challenges. Now it's turning to more of people showing you what's going on in the world. It's very strange.
Should I be doing any hot daddy things on there at all?
It's a place
couple
for
people,
snacks, is it not?
couple people hollowing at Gail.
You could do some daddy dances on TikTok. I think maybe a daddy dance challenge.
You're ruining that word for me, Chris, by you saying it. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't you say it. You just made it
You
seem
have to say
disgusting.
Danny. Does he have to say it so
Daddy. It's because he never had one. Poor bastard. Poor fucking endling that he is. Chris, what song would you like to come back with when we do this 3 minutes of silence?
Maybe like I'm Black and I'm Proud. I think that could work in this situation.
That's divisive. It doesn't work for everybody, you know? I need something that fucking Seth Rogen would say, God damn, nailed it. You know? What happened with Seth? I saw that he was trending.
Seth Rogen posted on his Twitter, on Instagram, a Black Lives Matter post. And he said, if you find this controversial in any way, you can unfollow me. And when people started to respond to it negatively, he took the time to individually respond to each person saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you and your father, fuck you, don't watch my movies anymore, all the way down. Everybody who had issue, anybody who responded with, come on, dude, all lives matter, or I'm unfollowing you because of this and that. He had a response for each person.
He must have been high. He gets very, very high. And you know he actually can roll those cross joints that he did in that one movie? I thought that was like a made-up Cheech and Chong thing. But it's real. I don't even understand how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see people on TikTok smoking those.
Oh, God. You went from telling me we don't want to be on TikTok to now you're the biggest goddamn bell ringer for TikTok.
It came up fast, Ron. It came out of nowhere. But a lot of people don't like it because they say it's just Chinese spyware on your phone.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't think anyone does, but the kids love it.
Go over to the iBang to check out how many people are doing the blackout thing. I'm just going to go through our Instagram and look. Here's here. Ali Colbert, right off the bat. Joe Biden just has a picture of him and Obama. I guess that works. Dan Soder has just put up all the different George Floyd memorial funds, Minnesota Freedom Fund. So that might, even though he's not doing it, Sherrod Small, Gomez. That's surprising. Wow, just a lot of them on here. Mike Lawrence, Ryan Hamilton. You're not going to get any whiter than Ryan Hamilton. Here's Walter Goggins. Crazy. These are weird, weird times we're living in, folks. Rosebud Baker, Jamie Kennedy. It's almost across the board. Eagle Witt, Dana Gold, David Spade. It's on and on and on. Diane Keaton, your favorite, Gail.
I adore her, and I love her Instagram account.
Michael Rappaport has the blackout, but then he just has vote there. Can't stay quiet, can you, Michael? Gotta always put something in. Adam Sandler with Black Lives just blacked out today. And he's a conservative guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is, right?
Very. I wonder if Vito's hero Kanye was so fucking happy yesterday, jumping up and down when Trump turned the horses loose on those guys.
I'm not sure Kanye knows what's going on.
Yeah. I'm not sure he is aware at the moment.
He's got the Kardashians to deal with.
His sister-in-law has a new head. Okay, there's a lot going on.
By the way, Vito, you're always trying to push me back into that Dave show.
Yeah.
And last night I watched 3 episodes and I was laughing and laughing. And I'm like, I don't know whether this show is funnier than I gave it credit for, or I have completely gone nuts. But it was the episode where he was singing. I mean, this song went on forever, and it was about basically prison rape, and that he figured out the way around prison rape was just to offer everyone blowjobs, and it was just going on and on. And why this song is happening, right? It's just like being done in real time. Like, I'm like, what is this, a musical episode? This is so long. And then boom, the song goes off, and it's his record company, and they're like, there is no way we are putting this out. And it was extremely funny of him defending it. I don't know where I am on this whole thing.
I love
you
that
love
episode.
it, right?
I love that episode, especially because the episode before was this like heartbreaking episode about his relationship. and then I wanted to see what was going to happen. In the first 8 minutes, I just thought he was going to ignore all of that and just do a 30-minute like hip-hop opera, basically. And like, the visual humor of him, there's a part where he's posting up a blowjob sign in the prison, and it's so funny.
Here's what's the funniest thing about it. It should not be funny. That's always the funniest shit, where you're like, this has gone on too long, and then you're laughing again. And I don't know, maybe, like I said, Greer Barnes part of it.
Greer Barnes.
Yeah. Really looks funny to see somebody like promoting a Zoom show in the middle of all these things, though. You know what I mean?
I know.
I was laughing yesterday. All this shit was going down and people were freaking out on social media. And then a very well-known comic that we all love was just showing videos of him on the beach. And that was making me laugh really hard. You know what I mean? Like, just not knowing what's going on right now.
I had a couple friends like that just over the weekend yesterday, just like the last couple days, like where you know that they're not being hurtful, but it's just really funny. Like a friend posting this video of her on the beach and her dog is just like living his best life. And I was like, ugh. I don't know, dude.
All right, somebody just wrote to us on this thing. Thanks for supporting terrorism. Unfollow. No, I don't know whether just to laugh at that or give them a Seth Rogen. Say something about their dad. That's us. We
maybe call him a
terrorism.
snack.
Yeah. Okay, snack. I know that hurts. You know what I mean? And I feel like Sam's putting extra pressure on me now.
Yeah, he's like set it as a standard, you know. Sometimes you just want to feel comfortable.
I don't think I can hold this up.
That's the pressure Vito lives with all the time.
I'm just thinking, more I think about this is because we're coming up on the blackout in just 20 minutes. But the more I'm thinking about it, it's got to be something that just makes people think I'm changing the way I'm living my life. You know what I mean? I'm changing everything. What about that song, Luck? No, what about that song Lucky that went around for a while, whatever that was? I'm staying up all night to be lucky. We got to come up with something big, something fantastic. Something that just changes the entire world.
Can we do that with one single song, though?
All right. Ian Finance is part of this. Annie Letterman, part of it. Mateo Lane. Judy Gold. Joe Coy. Always thought he was right wing.
Really?
Amy Schumer. That's a shocker. By the way, I have a Cooking with Amy Schumer show saved, and I'm happy about that. Always happy to watch that show.
I've been loving that show.
The show is funny and the food is good, but I also think that they need like a countdown to when the divorce happens. I see Chris at one point just snapping like, you've got to stop teasing me. This matters to me.
Yeah, it's really, really funny. Plus all the fennel content.
Yeah, he likes fennel. Well, if you're on Blue Apron, you get plenty of fennel. Nikki Glazer. Blackout Tuesday. Mike Feeney. I didn't see that coming. Chris DiStefano. A lot of names. A lot of names, guys. I don't know why anybody thinks it's a big deal whether they unfollow you or not. Just unfollow people without saying it.
Yeah. I see that a lot on Twitter. I see it a lot anytime anyone makes a political statement. It just seems like the unfollow itself is the statement.
Right.
Because certainly people like have, put out their opinions and then they can say, then they go, I noticed I lost a lot of followers and I get that people don't agree with me, but this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
How about anybody know whether you lost a follower or not? What do? Sit around and look at your numbers? It's just fucking, it's not real.
I guess you have to have a small enough amount that you can actually see individuals dropping off.
Oh, by the way, you know that thing that you said look for the helpers? Who said that? Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
I noticed yesterday there were none. So I just wanted to point that out to Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
I don't see any helpers.
Mr. Rogers and his mom are going to have a hard time spotting the helpers.
But, in the Martin Luther King thing, I thought yesterday during that park is that you could see the shame is on the other side. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And I'm quoting Bowie when I say that. But I looked at those young men holding those shields that said military, police, or whatever it did. And I'm like, you're not going to get this moment back, dude. You know what I mean? You joined the military for your country. You know what I mean? And the whole support the troops stuff, this is your chance to say the troops support us. You know what I mean? You don't turn on your own country. It was a shocking moment for me. And at the end of it, I decided, okay, it's just publicity. It's just a fucking photo op. I'm not really looking at Mussolini in Italy. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. It's very hard to say at this early moment. I had the same thing where it was like, is this a really big thing or does it just feel like a really big thing? But then, like you said, you see those images and you watch the video. I mean, that there was video of the Vine Street Expressway in Philadelphia that to me it looked like war footage. It was really wild of them trying to climb up the hill to escape, the tear gas and paint pellets and rubber bullets just being showered on these people. And it's like it was hard to look at and reason with the fact that like this is currently the situation and it's here.
We're also now here's some good news, Gail. The astronauts Bob and Doug, we're going to be talking to them today at 4:20 in the East. So this will be the first time ever, we've had that opportunity to talk to astronauts in space.
This is amazing. I can't even believe we're going to have that opportunity.
Yeah. 4:20 today. I don't even know what to ask them. Oh, I got the perfect. I'll go, hey, is Mars the kind of place to raise your kids? Or is it cold as hell? And is there anyone there to raise them? If you did? Coming up in 14 minutes, we're going to join the blackout. It'll be a 3-minute blackout of silence for Blackout Tuesday. Sirius XM's music stations are doing this. We've joined along. And Vito, are you going to keep an eye on the clock? Because I can't count on Earl.
Yes, I'm keeping an eye on the clock.
Earl, remember your thing was that help me to remind me about prep?
Yes.
What happened with that?
I guess I dropped the ball on it.
Here's what you got to remember, Earl. I am what science calls a nincompoop. So I didn't decide to look at this prep of the canceled guest till last night. It was the first time that I looked at it. And then I'm like, oh, I have to watch their show. But it was like 10 shows. You know what I mean? Like, this is how stupid I am. I'm so stupid that somebody's going to have to wheel me out to sit in the sun. Or I'll just, you know what I mean? I'm at that point in my life right now. My brain is no longer active. I've been housebound for is it going to be 3 months on Thursday?
I think it is going to be officially 3 months.
I feel like that guy that got left on Mars in that movie a couple years ago. I can't even remember what the name of that movie was.
The Martian.
Matt Damon as the Martian.
Really? That's the name of it? The Martian? Because he's not. He's an Earthling living on Mars. I think to be a Martian, you got to be born on Mars.
I don't know. I mean, how long do you have to live there? I mean, I feel like if you move there as a kid, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
And
you did high
eventually become
school
a
on
Martian?
Mars. I feel like if you did high school on Mars and now you're an adult, like you had enough experiences.
All right, I'm going to say 10 years. But even then, you know, when you're in Key West, they call the natives a conch. If you were born in Key West, you're called a conch. But if you've lived there for a lot of years, you become a conch, but a freshwater conch. They make a real difference between the two. Now, with Philadelphia, you can live in South Jersey and say I'm from Philly. I don't know why you get away with that, but it's the only place that I know of. Well, kind of Chicago is the same way. Like if you go visit a friend in Chicago, you're like, hey, we're going to stay at your house. And then you drive to downtown Chicago, you're like, you know, we're 2.5 hours into this trip and we're still not here yet. And they're like, yeah, I know, Chicago's great. So many bars. And you're like, I could have taken a flight.
Do you get that where, like, do kids from, let's say, Long Island, when they're talking to people from outside, do they say, like, I grew up in the city?
No one ever says in the city, but people will say I'm from New York. And a lot of people from New York State will say, will you go like, where are you from? And they go, I'm from New York. You know, we do things differently in New York. And you're like, what part of, New York are you from? What neighborhood? Albany. Come on, man. You're closer to being a Canadian. Bennington show on another weird Tuesday, hanging out. We're going to be joining in 10 minutes for the big blackout that should end racism in this country. I'm hoping. Doesn't hurt for people to stop and just think for a moment. That's how I'm going to spend the 3-minute blackout, thinking.
Yeah. There's definitely self-reflection, I think, that needs to take place in everybody. There's a lot of finger pointing right now.
Yes, there is. And then, somebody will say to me, most cops are good. I go, of course most cops are good. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the guy who knelt on the neck.
Yeah.
And his friends. And then when you get around to protecting those kind of people.
Right. That's another key thing is that, people use that one bad apple thing. But I think also if you're not willing to call out that person, you too become, one of them. You can't be a good cop and protect bad cops.
Right. One bad apple has to be pulled out because the next line is, and if you're going to pay attention to the Osmond brothers, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch, girl. Mm-hmm. Kellyanne Conway slammed the bishop who objected to Trump and said that is not her church, that is not her Bible. Well, it wasn't his church or his Bible. It's a church and a Bible. And he walked over and stood in front of it.
It was very similar to, in tone, to the girl who asked to just take a picture while somebody was boarding up their store as though she was helping, and then walked away just for her social media post. Very similar.
And they said a lot of it came from Trump wanting to look tough. And I'm like, well, he's from Queens and he's never been in a fist fight in his life. You know what I mean? It's because his family sent him away to school. You know what I mean? Like, much like he did in his own. How English is that, by the way, to be sent away to school? I don't even think I'd known anybody who their family sent them somewhere to go to school. I mean, for me, if you were forced to go to the all-boys Catholic school, that was exotic. You're like, what is your family thinking? What are you doing? There's not even a girl in that school.
No human girls, except for the nuns.
No. They never had. They had the brothers teach them.
Oh, did they?
It would be the brothers would teach them. They didn't get to see any females. You know, in elementary school, you had females. But once you got to high school, they went off in two different directions. The girls and the boys. Both just seemed like a nightmare existence to me when I was a kid. I'm like, guys, you realize this is the fucking 70s, right? I mean, we're really having a ball right now. There's no rules whatsoever. You're sitting around with a tie on in an unair conditioning school learning Latin? Come on, man. Frampton just came alive, dude.
Do you ever notice that does happen in movies where, like, somehow they seem to have perspective on the current time?
Yeah, right.
Like, hey, man, this is the 60. You're like, you don't know what it is yet. We'll tell you it's the 60s later.
Vito just texted me. It's 5 minutes to 3. You realize there's a delay on this, though, right, Vito? Should we try to edge up with the delay? Would that be the smart way to do it, or does it really not matter so much?
I think because of the way it works out with engineering, it's best to go at what the computer says is 3.
Now,
their official clock.
You had to work on the engineer today because every day that I've been in the pre-show, I can't hear you guys, right? And you use the same engineer. Let's do this because he's going out of his way. Let's buy him an engineer cap that he can wear.
Okay.
And Vito, do him a favor and shovel some of the coal before the show.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just as a little thank you from the Benningtons. I'm wondering, have we not had a vacation since Christmas?
No.
No, I don't. No, we haven't.
Yeah. Maybe that's another reason why we're kind of feeling like the weight of the world. Maybe it isn't just the world falling apart, but you can't leave the world. Maybe I'd like to do a week at the space station. Get a hold of Elon Musk and let him know I'd like to go to the space station. And also tell him money is no object.
Are you going to get one of those cool new spacesuits? They're very sleek.
Yeah, but I'm still going to wear a mask. You know what I mean? I don't know these other astronauts.
Yeah.
A lot of those astronauts don't even quarantine.
You don't want to introduce COVID into space, you know?
I don't want a space person to get COVID.
Spaceman.
still haven't picked a song to come back with, and we're only 3 minutes out. Maybe let's just leave it up to Vito. You know what I mean? We do that with the end of the show song every day, and he's nailed it every single
true.
day.
He always comes up with the right answer.
You know why, Gail? Love is
Why?
the answer. John Lennon said that. He never told us what the question was, though. That's the confusing thing to me.
Doesn't matter. Any question.
What is this, Jeopardy? Don't give me the answer first. Give me the question first. You would think that Jeopardy would be the easiest show in the world to win, because if they just said dumpster, right? Dumpster. Mm-hmm. You could just go like this. And what rhymes with rumster? Now I'll go and I'll take. All right, ready to jump into this, and maybe what we'll do is we'll have Earl send us into the moment of silence, or the 3 minutes of silence. Chris, how high up did this come in the? Because I know we saw the note from the bosses. How high up did this come in the company?
Oh, this came from Jim Meyer, the CEO of SiriusXM.
Wow, progressive.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Good guy, good dude too. It's very weird to meet a CEO and go, "Oh, what a regular guy! What a fun guy." But you know, the company has been running better than the country, and I never thought I would say that. But we've been on top of this. Earl Douglas, I know this is a big time for you on Blackout Tuesday. Would you like to read the email that we got to let everybody know what's going on with SiriusXM?
Yes. In solidarity with the black community.
Wait. Take a second. Take a second, Earl. Take a second. You got to have a little, give it the weight that it's worth. Go ahead.
In solidarity with the black community, at 3 p.m. today, we will be silencing SiriusXM music channels for 3 minutes. 1 minute to reflect on the terrible history of racism, 1 minute in observance of this tragic moment in time, and 1 minute to hope for and demand a better future. This will serve as a tribute not only to George Floyd, but to all of the countless victims of racism. SiriusXM and Pandora will continue to amplify black voices by being a space where black artists showcase their music and talent, and by carrying the message that racism will not be tolerated.
We just wanna party, party just for you. We just want the money, money just for you. I know you wanna party, party just for me. Girl, you gotta dance, dancing shit for free. We just wanna party, party just for you. We just want the money, money just for you. I know you wanna party, party just for me. Girl, you gotta dance, dancing shit for free.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Look how I'm living now. Police be tripping now. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry 'em. Yeah, I'ma go into this. Yeah, this is gorilla. Yeah, I'ma go get the bag. Yeah, or I'ma get the pad. Yeah, I'm so cold like yeah. I'm so dull like yeah. We gon' blow like yeah. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Yeah. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. Look how I'm geeking now. I'm so pretty. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. Watch me move. This is Sally. That's a tool. Yeah. On my Kodak. Black. Ooh, know that. Yeah, know that. Ooh, get it. Ooh, work it. 100 bands. Contraband. I got the plug on who a hawker. Whoa. They gonna find you like Paco. Blah. Ooh, America.
I just checked my follow and listen. You motherfuckers told me.
Grandma told me, get your money, black man. Get your money, black man. Get your money, black man. Get your money, black man.
Get down.
Just a black man in this world. He's just a buck code. Hey, just a black man in this world. The next one's a foreign head. Just a big dog, yeah. My Kindle came in the backyard. My barbarian life to a dog.
It's the Bennington Show on a Blackout Tuesday. It was very, very interesting, Gail. When I was sitting here while this song was playing, I get the alert that goes out to all the phones that 8 p.m. Curfew in New York City tonight. It's the first curfew New York City's had since World War II, where you had to keep your lights out because they thought maybe somebody would bomb the city. Very, very odd times that we're living in, but make no mistake, we're coming through this one way or another. Because there's no other way. There's literally no other way.
Yeah, I mean, the time has been coming. The voices are loud right now, and I hope that it continues to be a conversation. And I hope that, honestly, anyone who thought about participating in Blackout Tuesday, or putting a post up, a blacked out post. Also think about, the voices that you can raise during this time, or the information that you want to spread. Think about places that you can donate to. If you're not in the position to put, your ground on the feet, your feet on the ground right now, and be out there with protesters.
Strange times that we're living in. We'll be right back. This is Bennington.
Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show. Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
Bennington Show. It's a Tuesday. It's Blacked Out Tuesday. Ron and Gail Bennington with you today and for the rest of the week. We know these are weird times, but we're all hanging out together. Let's go over to Earl Douglas. And all kidding aside, Earl, all ball busting aside, how are you even feeling on this day? Does this mean something, or is it just It's
a start.
Is it more?
I think it's a good start. There's still a lot of dialogue that needs to be had, and the fact that so many people are on board with this across the spectrum. I mean, I think usually you have a leader that kind of come forward, and you always have that moment, like in the McCarthy hearings, have no decency, or we have no fear. So I think this one we're going to have to do it ourselves, because everyone's so scattered on the leadership side, especially here in New York and I think all over. I think we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to self-examine first, and then have hard conversations with people who might not necessarily share your viewpoint. You know what I mean? So it's a good start, and I hope we keep going with it. I just don't want it to be a symbolic day and then everything goes back to where it was.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing, right? You never know. It's like I said, we never know what is just a symbolic thing, or maybe symbolic things are not necessarily even bad. You know what I mean? It's a moment of time. I just really thought this would have all been settled with Hands Across America. I mean, that was like a big moment for us all, and then we went right back into the 80s. Earl, who's somebody that you'd be willing to sit down and talk to?
Like here in New York, Pat Lynch, the head of the police, the PBA.
Mm-hmm.
Like, mainly him, because he's been a staunch cop defender, as he should, being the head of the union. But I would really just like to know why it's so difficult for when a cop disgraces the badge or dishonors the badge to come out and just say, hey, this guy disgraced and dishonored the badge, and we're going to take care of it. Or he doesn't represent us. Or he doesn't. But instead, we get everything. Even if it does happen, there's this sideways compliment that comes with it. And I'm just trying to. I've never been able to wrap my head around that. And he would probably be the one person that, because he leads the cops, and he leads the police union, and that would be the one guy, or maybe the police commissioner right behind him. But I would like to talk with someone from law enforcement.
That'd be interesting. Earl Douglas, maybe you're the guy to rise at this time. You know what I mean? Maybe Earl Douglas's name will go down in the history books. Look, there's a lot of late in life bloomers. Earl, I wasn't always a snack daddy, and yet now I find myself in that position. You know what I mean? Didn't mean to be, but I'm going to accept it now that it's there. You know what I mean? Now that it's happened, all right? Some people are born into snack daddy. Other people have snack daddy forced upon them. I've already called HR about what Sam Roberts had to say when calling me a snack. And you know what HR said to me, Gail?
What?
Seems like a compliment. I wouldn't mind being called a snack. I go, you're missing the entire point, you know? Sam Roberts walks around like he's X-Pac, you know, up and down those halls like he's X-Pac. And I don't even know who that is. I have no idea who X-Pac is.
Is he always doing the chop?
Yeah, he chops across his... And I want to say this because I know a lot of kids are home right now and we've been doing the family show. But he does this chop, which is like an X, across his, and forgive my French here, cock and balls. You don't know me, I'm your brother. Vito, were you very proud of your song?
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember when that song came out and just the video and like what it represented and the images in it, and like it was one of the first music videos in years that I remember people actually spoke about, and yeah, I'm glad we played that just now.
Now, could you speak to your friends tonight? And I know that we've seen you on TV with your friends, where Vito is the shortest person in this whole group, and Vito is very tall. But could you just ask them when they go out looting tonight to stay out of my neighborhood? Is just like a sign of respect.
Yeah, I don't think my friends are going to be looting, but I will let them know if they choose to stay out of that neighborhood.
Just be like, come on, this dude's cool.
Yeah, well, he's down. Tell them that I'm down with stuff. Yeah. Last night, well, tonight I got to be in by 8:00, and that's embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is really messing with my dog walking schedule.
I know. That seems like essential.
I know. I'm gonna write a letter about it.
Letter? What year is this? Just text someone; they'll get it immediately. Yeah, I got to be in by 8, and that ain't my way because I like to sit on a street corner at night, watch the gals walk by. That's my thing, And then
give them a chance to call you a snack.
You know what? Now it's turned around, I guess. But I like to just, look at them as they're going by and I don't say anything because I think that's rude. You know what I mean? Any of those things. But I'll just go like this. Earl, maybe you could sit down. I can't get the union chief for you, but I wouldn't mind you sitting down with Vito, maybe having a conversation. Might be a good start for you,
Yeah, we got to start somewhere. That's dialogues start. They have a beginning and then they sprout out. And then I'm open to dialogue. I think we need dialogue right now. We just need something other than what's going on now. I'm like, it's so exasperating.
It is, and it's in the middle of a goddamn coronavirus.
Yeah,
and I'm also going to look into see if those numbers are going to spike from everybody getting back out in the streets so damn close to each other.
It's good to see a lot of masks in the New York City protests. I'm proud to see that.
Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of death here. Not the easiest year for us, this old 2020 thing,
It's not the best. We had such high hopes. I mean,
I know.
Us in January?
You should have saw me on New Year's Eve. I'm like, God damn, here we go. finally we're putting this 2019 behind us, and we're going to kick ass in 2020.
You know, I'm really going to find my 2020 vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had these glasses that just were like two twos, and then the zeros were glasses. It looked so great. Mm-hmm. Everybody was saying to me on New Year's Eve, they're like, "Where'd you get those glasses from, Elton John?" And then we'd have a big laugh, and then I'd grab them by the ears and I'd go like this, "Seriously, man, let's just fucking kill it in 2020. This is our year." Well, I was wrong. Once again.
Yeah. I just hope no one remembers how excited we were.
I'm glad there's no video of it. Oh, I've been worried about the stand being looted because so much stuff was at Union Square. And then I'm out at the end of my street, and I see all these police cars trying to stop them from coming uptown. They're kids. They're all just kids. And then I just started yelling, "Go back to Union Square." That's where the action is. There's nothing up here.
You're wasting your time.
I saw the Lululemon is all plywood, right? And I'm like, who in the middle of looting is going to want yoga pants?
I guess they're just worried people want to be comfortable. You want to wear something breathable when you're on the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Juju.
Hey, Juju.
Hi. How was your walk?
Let.
You went outside? You went outside?
I think it's.
New shoes. Yeah, and your new shoes.
No. She doesn't know what's going on. Don't bring up looting in front of her. She's just a baby.
Yeah.
She used to go outside every day. Now it's like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We used to let her run the streets. Yeah.
You went outside,
Yeah.
I know. My shoes. And you were wearing your shoes, your purple shoes?
Dada, I put his shoes.
Yeah. Dada put on your shoes?
Innocence. Enjoy this time before you realize what's going on.
You gotta cherish it.
Cherish it. Promise me. Yeah. Trying to, I really do feel bad for the kids now, I think back in my day, we used to ride our bikes, we watched Scooby-Doo, we had peanut butter cups.
That sounds great, actually.
We didn't have Sam Roberts walking around like he was X-Pac,
Chopping at you.
Chopping at you, calling you sexist names. Then I also think that he said this about me on the show. He goes, "I'd like to put my D in his AH."
Oh my God, that's so graphic. Did he use the initials like that?
Yeah, because in the mornings you're not allowed to curse. And he goes, or he could put his D in my AH and go to town so I could feel his B's slapping my A.
Jesus.
Yeah. What's that nut playing with over there?
She's just washing her hands, so that's why she's excited.
Oh, good. She likes washing her hands, does she? Chris still hasn't done that. He just rubs a little dirt on it. That's his way of dealing. That's his alt-right way of dealing with everything.
I mean, it's worked so far, though I'm not in the alt-rights. Just want to get that out there.
Really? Pineapple shirt?
That's a coincidence. It's just a nice shirt that I think brings people joy. I think it looks great on
Did
me.
we just hear it? We just hear your chick talking in the background?
Possibly. She's on a call.
Sexy call?
I don't know. It's a work call.
Well, what is she? What does she do? Phone sex?
No. She works at a startup.
I know she doesn't do phone sex, Chris. I was being a wise ass. You were getting roasted. You don't answer a roast battle with a serious thing. That's the kind of stuff. When someone says to you, is your girlfriend a phone sex operator? You don't go, no. She works for a startup. That sounds insane.
These are crazy times, Ron. So maybe I'm just saying crazy things, you know?
Yeah, that is true. I really do feel like that you've gone crazy from the heat, David Lee Roth style.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to get you to put up a bread roast today. What the fuck was I thinking?
Well, you're proud of your bread baking, and you're proud of your alt-right T-shirts.
I'm not proud of them. I'm just annoyed they've been co-opted. When things get co-opted, it's really annoying.
Gail just texted me. I'm trying to chill Juju. I'll be right back. It's so cute. I want to outside. My shoes. Of course you were wearing your shoes. You live in Brooklyn. You think we're going to let you barefoot down the street here? It's not Hawaii.
Broken glass everywhere.
Oh, you know what's really gross? I'm starting to see on the ground rubber gloves. Like people would just take off their rubber gloves. It's the new Coney Island whitefish.
I see it all the time, just like just one glove. So they obviously might still have the other glove on. So why'd they take off that glove? It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No idea.
I've seen more dog shit in the street than I've ever seen before.
That's me.
You know what? We're falling apart. You know what I mean? Like people, that's when people, it's the old broken windows thing, like if you have a neighborhood with broken windows, people just be like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? I don't care anymore. Vito, what do you got lined up for us there?
We have Susan from Sacramento had a question for you.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Susan.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, I was running in from walking my dog, and you were reciting this poem, and I couldn't write fast enough, and it ended up what I could get was, thank God I had the patience to wait this out. And I want to know, I just was like crying. It's like through my leash in the distance. It's like, I want to know, who is that? It's like the poem, I've been looking online, no one got tackled on the sidelines. I get sports references. What is that? That is the greatest. It just sums every damn thing up that I want to say to somebody who disagrees. So who is that? What is it?
That was an improvised poem by Mr. Ron Bennington. And do you know what it's like for me to know that I touched you on that level?
It's like I couldn't write fast enough, and so will there be a rebroadcast? Because all I got was I wrote fast as I could. Thank God I had the patience to wait this out, but it was what you said before. It just said, I can't believe you did that. I'm really bowled away. It was just, you got to publish that. It was just fantastic. I'm just
see the thing. Here's the thing about my poetry. I like to think of them as sandcastles. You know what I mean? They're not made for permanence. You build them on the beach and let the waves come. And what does a sandcastle do? It returns to sand, right?
Okay.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the moment, And
it was beautiful, and I want to be able to I just loved it. Anyway, I just loved it. So if your show's rebroadcast or I got to figure it out, because I thought it was just beautiful and it summed up every last damn thing. It was just the way you said it, and
Thank
I didn't
you.
know. I was in awe. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, I know you were crying. You were really moved. Here's what I want you to do, though. Forget the poem. Remember the feeling. That's what I say about all my work. Forget the words, but remember the feeling you got from that word. You know?
You know what it is, though? I want to be able to share that with someone else who is so hardened. So, yeah. So that was my point. So anyway, thank you. I wasn't hardened to begin with.
Right.
And it just kept me softer. Like I live in Sacramento, in California, the capital, and there's this like helicopters flying over all night, and I live in a place that's supposedly really nice, and so there was going to be an uprising, and they were going to come take us away. And I didn't believe that. I thought, it's the whole. So what you just said, it was just so nice. I loved it. Thank God I had the patience to wait this out. But anyway, thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. I'm always happy when my genius moves somebody. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a feeling, Vito, that you'll never know. Chris will never know.
No.
Earl will never know. Gail was a shot, but the baby's constantly, you know. But that kind of thing, I wish I could share it with you small-brained people. You know what I mean? I wish I could. I'm trying to, I guess, Chris, for you, the way that you would think of it is think of the feeling that you have when you take a firecracker and put it in a mailbox, that sound that goes off that gives you whatever joy that you have. Or where you throw a bottle up in the air and you don't know whether it's going to hit on your head or crash on the street, you know? Yeah. That's probably the closest you come to understanding that feeling.
I mean, I understand those feelings, and if I could feel that through poetry, I get it now, because those are the things I love best.
The thing is, that's funny to me is you think you get it, but you're so dense. You're so dull, you know, that you won't. But you'll get your version of that.
Yeah. Through the firecrackers, the bottles.
If that's all you've taken out of this, okay. I mean, if you're really going back and you're just saying firecrackers and bottles, you know what I mean? Okay, fine. That's plenty, if that's what you get. Wait it out. Stay on the sidelines.
Beautiful.
I saw Duck wrote this to us. I'm
back.
Yeah, you didn't hear that. Yeah.
I just heard the end of it, but I just have a quick question. I'm glad that she was so moved by it, but don't sometimes like cheerleaders accidentally get tackled on the sideline?
You know, I mean, actually, I think you could pick apart any art. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the point of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be per dick. You know what I mean? See what I did there?
Yeah, sure.
I like,
perfect.
Yeah. I keep a poster up in front of my desk where I do my work. And it simply says, Po Body's Nerfic. And I have that. And then there's another poster I have that's a cat that's just holding on to this thing. And it just says, hang in there, baby. You know, Friday's coming.
Does that help you?
No. But I do like, it covers up some spots on the wall that are, you know. Somebody said that Hitler was trending today.
I feel like he's always trending.
Yeah, that's true. I really thought yesterday was more Mussolini than Hitler, if I'm going to be totally honest, but that's just me. Vito, what do you got for us?
We have Jay from Ohio on the line.
Good. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Ronnie, how are you?
Oh, your phone's terrible.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you sound shitty, though. I'll be honest.
Oh, that's no good. Hey, I work in the RV industry, like travel trailers and stuff like that. And I've been doing it for 24 years. I've never seen it like this. We are sold out. Every dealer's calling us wanting inventory for their lots, and we can't build them fast enough. So people are buying these things and getting out of Dodge.
Well, I mean, the thing is a lot of people who want to vacation don't necessarily feel safe about hotels and stuff like that now, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's real keen on flying.
Right.
Wants to get in a hotel. So it's crazy. We're scheduled out. Usually August is kind of our cutoff date for the season. Our orders are out until December right now. So it's insane. I've never seen it like this.
So, like, while the rest of the world is entering a depression, these are great times for you.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, my friend. Enjoy. I'd love to do it, but then I'd remember that I'm in an RV. You know, that would be the only downside of it at all.
The whole RV aspect.
Well, you have the bed that goes over the table, which means you can't sleep in because everybody else wants to eat breakfast. But I'm happy to know that the recreational vehicle business is doing some bang up business today. That's good news.
Mm-hmm. Good this summer doing well.
Remember how I told everybody we'd be talking to Bob and Doug, and we were all excited about it, the astronauts?
Yeah.
I found out that it's actually going to be Dudley and Bob. So,
okay, that's different, but somehow better.
Yeah, it is. It's way better. There are buddies in Austin. They got the big #1 show in Austin. They're Austin celebrities. They're celebrated there because they're funny and entertaining, and it's just what I'd like to call damn good radio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're poets the way I am. I nailed that woman today. Had her probably as happy as she's ever been. I'm thinking about going out to Sacktown. Maybe just settling down.
Reach one person, and I think you did that today. That's all you could hope.
Yeah. Not necessarily. I mean, when you write a poem like that, you want to reach everybody, like literally every human being. If I just reach one person, I feel like that's a disaster. You know what I mean? You ever think
maybe that could have just been a text.
I mean, have you ever heard of a band that said, if we can just sell one album, I'll be happy? If I do a show and just one person shows up, that'll be it for me. That's all I need. I'd rather sit around burning bread like Chris Stanley. And the new bread bros, is the bread done correctly this time, or did you burn the hell out of it?
There is no burning of anything. The sourdough wasn't burnt either. This is a perfect piece of bread that I've made for everyone in this new episode of Bread Bros. Trust me.
Why do you, for everyone?
Can I tell you something? I've known you for at least 3 years now.
13.
All right, I've known you for 13 years. At no time have I ever heard you say either. You've been an either man. And I don't even have a friend who says either. Why are you saying either? When did this...
It just feels right now. I mean, maybe I've just been cooped up too long, and now my speech pattern's changing.
First of all, that whole song I've always hated. The either, either, neither, neither. Here's the deal. When you say tomato and I say tomato, I would just go like this. You're saying it wrong. No one says tomato.
Yeah. And like maybe some British people do, but I don't think anyone says potato. Like literally no one says potato.
I don't think any British people do. If someone said to me, would you like a potato with your steak? I'd go, I'm sorry, you having a stroke?
Only freaks say potato.
No, we're
you
saying
just
no
said
one does.
either. You just said either.
I think that's more acceptable than the potato thing. Either. I think either is much more said than potato.
Name a person who says either. Name a human being who says either. Thank you. Thank you for your long pause.
It's like Trudeau.
I remember when I was a kid, first grade. So they were teaching us to read. And the thing was like Dick and Jane. And it was like Jane got in the auto, in her father's auto. I just raised my hand. I go, what the fuck is an auto? And they said, well, an auto is a car. It's short for automobile. I go, first of all, I don't even know people that say automobile, but I don't know anybody who would call a car an auto. And they go, well, you know, just, and she's like, my teacher, Miss Pettitange, she says, you're missing the point here. We're just trying to learn how to read. I go, you're missing the point. You're giving me a book, my first book ever, that has words that are not used. This is fucking insane.
It's weird that you have this memory because I remember a book that was used as we were learning to read, and it was called The Big Rig. And I was immediately like, I don't know anyone who calls it a rig. I know what a truck is. I'd like to learn that word. I feel like rig isn't going to come up as often.
I think the only person who calls it a rig would be a trucker. And I think you probably were reading some kind of a YA book written by a trucker. Now, I remember this before I went into first grade. And I don't know whether the moms got a note, but we had to know our address. You know what I mean? Like the kids had to know our address. So, you know, you're learning your address, and then you say Twin Oaks, Pennsylvania. Twin Oaks, Pennsylvania. All right? That's the thing. And I walk to school with my buddy, Stuffy Banco. Now, me and Stuffy are sitting there, and there's a girl sitting in between us, you know? We're at our little dumb desk. So she gets asked her address. And she says her address, and she's like, Twin Oaks, Pennsylvania. And me and Stuffy just turn around and look at each other like, what the fuck? You know? And here's the thing. Every kid in that class was from Twin Oaks, Pennsylvania. But we were so little, right, that we just were on our half block. We just knew people on our half block. We had no idea that Twin Oaks stood for something bigger than the fucking 12 houses that we could see.
Did you think that you were like shocked, or you thought she was lying?
No. We were like shocked, like, who is she? And I remember thinking, I'm so little, like, what a cute girl. It was Jerry and Earl, and I ended up going all the way through school with her, known her my whole life. But that thing, and I don't even think I've ever even brought that up to her, but we were just like, what the? We both had this like, and imagine you're in first grade and you got the bug eye, open mouth, and you're looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on, man?
This is crazy.
Yeah.
What house does she live in?
And the other funny thing is like, we already knew not to bring that up. You know what I mean? Not to stop the class and go, excuse me, this is insane. But this young lady, I guess, lives in my neighborhood. What are the odds? What are the fucking odds that we all live together? But these were different times, Chris. We would ride our bike down, you know. We'd ride our bike down. We'd get... These were different times than the kids living now. You know, we went out mask free. We didn't put a mask on, you know? We would take our baseball cards and with a clothespin, we'd hit it so it'd make a noise like we were riding around on a motorcycle. You know, kids don't even do that now.
Sounds quaint.
Yeah, like in the mid afternoon, we'd go home and get a snack for ourselves. You know, kids don't even have snacks these days.
So true.
You know, after school, we'd come on home and we put on the television and watch a cartoon. Kids don't even know what a cartoon is anymore.
They don't.
These kids today, they don't even use a knife and fork. It's totally different, you know? None of these kids have ever drank juice.
It's delicious.
Chris, none of your stuff ever helps. I mean, it doesn't push it along. You know what I mean? It's just odd. It's an odd thing to say. It's some kind of a weird alt-right thing to say. It's almost like you yelling out, "Hi, Hitler."
No, it's not. It's nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the alt.
By the way, let me just say to any Germans, I realize I said hi instead of Heil. I get it. I fucked up. But guess what? That's because I'm not with the Nazi party. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to get some things
You're not-
wrong. I don't study it.
You're not a pineapple shirt.
Hell no.
No. There's nothing to do with that.
You know, we used to say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. That's what we'd all do, you know? We'd turn and face the flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance with our hands over our hearts. These kids don't even know what a heart is. Most of them have no idea where the heart is in the body. You know, Valentine's Day, we'd sit and draw like hearts, and then we'd cut it out with safety scissors. These kids have no idea what safety scissors are.
What?
You know, when I was a kid, when the autumn would come around, the leaves would fall down. You ever notice that? Never happens anymore. The leaves stay up through the entire winter. When I was a child, you look up into the sky and there would be clouds there. Whenever anybody starts to tell me about their childhood, I'm like, we all had the exact same childhood. Shut the fuck up about it, okay? I don't want to hear about Kool-Aid. You know, we'd have a little glass of Kool-Aid, be all different flavors. I think we got to take a break here. On a Black Tuesday, followed tomorrow will be a Black Wednesday, then a Black Thursday, a Black Friday.
Black Friday already?
Yeah. I would like to figure out if we could all do this. Maybe just change the year now and just act like the end of this week is New Year's Eve, and we'll just start 2021 and see if that doesn't work better for us.
I think that it just would be like a nice restart button. Just forget it.
Earl asked to speak to somebody today, and we just got a response on that. Earl, who was it that you wanted to speak to? You wanted to have a sit down?
Pat Lynch, the head of the PBA.
PBA is short for what, Earl?
The Benevolent Association.
Might be nice for you to point that out for everybody who doesn't follow along with your initials. I got a message in from Pat Lynch who said he'd be glad to sit down and talk with you with a billy club to your head.
Oh, that would be a wonderful
you wanted to talk, Earl. You've got your wish.
Yeah, I wanted to talk. I didn't want to get a club upside my head.
See, just keep the discussion going. All right, we're going to break here, guys. This is Bennington.
Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show. Faction Talk 103. It's the Bennington Show.
Bam, bam, ba-dam, bam, 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 ba-dam. Bennington show on a Tuesday. I'm thinking about giving myself a blackout from the news tonight. And just going into a cocoon. Is there anything worth watching tonight at all? Do any of you guys know if there's a good television show that I could binge?
I'm not currently binging anything, so I would love to know that.
I heard this show Devs on Hulu is really good, but I haven't started it yet.
Wait. This is the first time I'm hearing this. What's it called?
Devs. It's about it's about the future where every I'm doing a bad job of explaining it. I haven't watched it. I've just heard really good things.
First of all,
it's about the future.
Here's the problem. There's no such word as devs, so that's already a turnoff. Second, the future sounds frightening to me. I'd really like to watch something of a
maybe
solid
a period
path.
piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
you
will.
know what?
Yeah.
What if you just watch you binge watch Queer Eye episodes, because they're always feel good.
I'm more dedicated to the old Queer Eye than the new one. I just kind of feel.
I know.
I don't
I
want
felt
a
the same way.
menudo. I'm not about menudo. I like the original menudo, not the other one that they became.
Yeah. No, I was a huge Queer Eye for the Straight Guy fan, and then new Queer Eye came along, and I was like, I'm not ready for these guys, and God damn it, did they win me over quickly. So, if you're looking for a warm, fuzzy feeling.
I saw the old Queer Eye guys in Central Park, and they were fighting a squirrel over a nut. Poor bastards. So I'm trying to take it. Go ahead.
There was a Netflix show that I binge watched. I didn't really want to, but then I ended up just binge watching it. And it's The Big Flower Fight on Netflix, which is a show that is a direct ripoff of the British Bake Off, except people are making flower arrangements. And it is beat for beat the British Bake Off, except for flowers. And it's enraging.
You want to know something funny? I binged watched this entire show, and you guys never heard me say peep about it, and there's a reason for it. It's not my favorite, and yet I sat there, I watched all the episodes, but it was not what I thought it was going to be. It's a very sad ripoff of Bake Off.
This is the truth about flower arrangements, right? They're best when they're just in a field. You know what I mean? Like the best way a flower can look is the way it does in nature, not put together on a table somewhere. So just by picking the flower, you've already ruined it.
Well, here's the thing. I would say that you'd be wishing for just to see table arrangements, because that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, here's the challenge. You got to do a wedding. Okay, now you have to do like a tea party outside. I don't know. They were going to be themes. Every single challenge is like one of those giant structures where you just, like it has grass in it, and it's just like it wasn't good. It was not.
I just feel like the winner of this should be the Rose Bowl parade. I remember like when I was a kid, it felt like the country was like way bigger. Like you didn't know people who traveled, other places. Mm-hmm. So here it is. It's like New Year's Day. I wake up. I'm watching a parade on TV, and everything is just roses. People in T-shirts. There's just beautiful girls, and I'm like, what? I'm saying to my dad, I go, what the hell is going on here? And he's like, that's the Rose Bowl parade in Los Angeles. I go, why isn't it cold? I'm so stupid and so young. I don't understand how these people have roses and girls in shorts on New Year's Day, right? He's like, that's Los Angeles. He goes, it's always warm there. And they're able to have it go. I go, wait, this is a real place. And my father's like, yeah, it's a real place. I go, it's a place that we could go to. And he's like, yeah, it's on the other side of the country. I go, why are we living here? Why do you have us here when this place exists? He's like, well, he's like, Ronnie, we get all 4 seasons. I go, 3 of them are bad. 3 of them are horrific. We could be in Los Angeles, California.
I feel like spring is so overrated. Like, you think that you're happy once spring has sprung. But, okay, yeah, you get some flowers. But it's rainy, it's shitty, it's halfway between cold and hot. It's never pleasant. And the allergy season. It's actually depressing. It's sometimes worse than winter.
I think Trump's approval rating would go out if he goes, we have decided to change the name from spring to England. And, well, I can't believe it, but England started today. Then we're going to have shitty, rainy winter and put on a Mac. A Mac. When I heard the Beatles, the bank and the banker always wears a Mac in the pouring rain, or never wears a Mac in the pouring rain. I go, what is a Mac? And they go, a raincoat. I go, all right, now I know they're nuts. Now I know.
And don't they say
McCartney's out of his
wellies too?
Wait, what?
For rain. I feel like they call rain boots wellies, but maybe I've made that up.
You know, when I was just talking with Gervais the other day, and we were having a great time, and everything was fun and all, but he kept saying telly over and over, and I kept thinking, God, you're so smart about everything else. And then instead of saying television or TV, you just say telly.
The one that really bugs me that they say is baddies for bad guys. I was watching a movie and there was a baddie on there. So weird.
Yeah. It's baby talk, what they do.
It is.
Now, this is the weird thing about them. So they're getting bombed during World War II. The Nazis are bombing them. And they referred to the Nazis as Jerry's or Jerry. Like Jerry was really lit up last night. You can't be at war with a Jerry. You know what I mean? It's too nice of a name.
I know. Jerry.
The Jerrys don't seem to like the Jews very much, right? No, there are some nice things. I think it's nice that they say holiday for vacation. I think
cool.
Saying the word caravan sounds nicer than trailer.
Okay, I like Happy Christmas instead of Merry Christmas.
I say Happy Christmas now because that.
I like lift instead of elevator. I think that's pretty good.
No, you don't. I mean, that's just you don't use that.
He's just trying to join in.
I like apples and pears instead of the stairs.
That I really hate. That stupid thing that they do. That
doesn't make
I
sense.
think they say to fuck with us.
I thought they said pulley instead of elevator.
Pulley is what they call jacking off.
Oh, okay.
Like, I just had a little pulley in the lift.
Oh, he did a pulley right on my face.
I was on a Zoom and one of my friends just moved to England and she said that she was in her flat. And I asked her when she started deciding to call it a flat instead of an apartment. And she acted like she didn't
Madonna.
know.
Yeah,
like,
she went full Madonna on you.
It's so annoying. Like you've never called it a flat before. You're not just going to call it something different because you moved there. It's still an apartment to you, poser.
Oh, stop it. You know what? She's a friend. Why can't you just get along instead of picking apart every time? She's trying to fit in right now, okay? I hear you do hip hop talk and I don't yell at you.
Oh, what about this? What if we start saying bants like they do? They
What?
call banter bants, like we're going to have little bants.
What?
Most of this stuff is nutty
Like
talk.
I'm going to go out and have some bants with the lads.
I do like when they say, instead of like saying come over to my place, they say you want to come over to mine.
It's confusing,
Yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah.
My friend who's Scottish says the same thing. Come over to mine.
You're what, bro?
You know, we don't have to come at them with aggression. We're different.
Yeah.
I'll never.
That's what makes us great.
I'll never call a fry a chip. That's for damn sure. That's just fucking
I know,
crazy.
that's too confusing. And then what's the so crisp is a potato chip to them.
Yeah.
Yes, they're crisps.
Fries are chip. And then this is the other stupid thing. They call a cookie a biscuit. Now you offer me a biscuit, I'll be like, yeah, I'll have a biscuit with breakfast. And then they hand you a cookie, you're like, what am I supposed to do? Dip this in my eggy browns?
Look, I'm going to tell you, I've watched, 8 seasons of British Bake Off. I still don't have everything figured out because everything in the dessert world is confusing to me. Like what they call puddings, it's just, I think like a lot of times that just means desserts. Like what do we have for puds or puddings? I'm not kidding. And then, like jelly is Jell-O.
Yeah.
So they're like, it has a little layer of jelly in there, but it's not jelly, it's Jell-O, which shouldn't be a layer anywhere.
I don't even think they know what jelly is. They just do jam and then stop there.
They're an ass.
If I was over there, I think when someone made me dinner, I would only use the knife to stab myself in the neck and die on the table. But here's my favorite thing, and Gervais says this all the time. He says something's mental. You're mental.
Oh, I do like that. He's mental.
Mental. And I tried to even start it a little bit, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay with it.
Yeah, because the accent makes it better,
Yeah. That's what I want, the accent. And I just want one sport, soccer. I don't want anything else all year long. They have one sport last the entire year. Never understand when their season's over and another one starts. It's all very confusing.
Bruv is pretty cool. I like calling people bruv.
Bruv.
Like, in it, bruv.
Bruv is great. Bruv is good.
I think they got that from Jamaicans.
I like bloke better than bruv. Like calling someone a bloke. It's pretty fun.
You don't like it at all, Chris. You're trying to fit in. That's all. You thought of a word and then you're Googling British slang and then you're just trying to tell us that you like it.
I love when they say full of beans or flutter.
Next, he's going to say he likes snogging.
Oh, definitely. Give him a nice
Queen Elizabeth said that Chris is a wanker.
Yeah,
that's the actual queen. That's the actual queen who said that.
Wow.
She's just taking a piss.
Yeah. I love chicks that have accent, but the British accent with a girl doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I find it to be a fucking turnoff.
A posh British accent does not work for me. But if you're like a working man, you know what I mean? Like I feel like some of the more northern ones, I feel if you come from a working class town, those are a little sexier than a snobbish Londoner accent.
Maybe to, a guy saying it, but I don't want to hear a girl with that accent. You know what I mean? I don't want those girls from To Sir With Love. I find them to be gross.
You don't want to have someone say to you, "We're in your bleeding class next year."
I know. I'd rather hear a fucking hillbilly accent than that. I'd rather some inbred hillbilly said, fucking let's do this.
Irish is definitely considered sexy for both guys and girls. What
Agreed.
about Scottish?
Neither. The Scots are filthy people.
I don't know if it's okay to say, but I feel like Scottish people always sound like they're out of breath.
Why don't you
I like
know
that you
if that's
cautiously.
You're canceled.
I don't want to get canceled, but I don't want to say this. But they're a little breathy.
By the way, we're going to be talking to our buddies in Austin. Now, how's this working out, Chris? They're going to call us?
They're going to call us, yes, and then we'll be connected to them, and they're on. Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been easier to do some kind of via SDN lines or one of those things?
I don't think we have the amount of connections we would need in our studio. So this,
What
this
do you
was
mean you
an
don't think? It seems like something should have been worked out by then.
We do not. I'll take out the think part.
Okay, so all right, now I feel better. I feel like you've run through all your options, and that's okay.
You should work for SpaceX, Chris.
Never.
Dudley and Bob plus Matt. We'll be talking to them a little bit. They're doing afternoons at KLBJ in Austin. They're great guys. Normally, every year, I go down and we open up the Moon Tower together, and it's been some of the most fun I've had going to Cap City Comedy Club with those guys. They're hilarious. Their audience is fantastic. It's really, really a great time. And we missed them this year. Got a little too COVID-y for us to get together for Moon Tower.
This pandemic's ruined everything. It spoiled our fun.
It really has. It's let us all down.
Coronavirus is kind of a baddie when you think of it.
It is a baddie. And by the way, Vito, I don't know where we are in the show today. Do we break once more before the end of the show, or we take it to the limit?
We're taking it to the limit.
Yeah. One more time?
Mm-hmm.
One more time.
All right, so we're going to wait to hook up with those guys. So they're going to be calling us, or we call them?
We have them now.
We do have them.
Oh, great.
All right, let's say hi.
That's pretty good through the phone. Hi, Ron.
Hey, what's happening, buddy? How's everything in Austin?
What's this deal you were promoting, Bob and Doug?
Yeah. Those were the astronauts. It was like a really funny little joke that we did. I know that you guys do not follow along with SpaceX. I know.
I do.
All that has, yeah. Oh, you do.
We did a whole segment about how horrendous those costumes were. I guess you don't call them costumes.
They look like they were designed by Untuckit. It looked like spacesuits designed to be worn untucked.
Don't steal my line.
I thought I had it.
No. Jesus.
All right, let's get to.
I wear Untuckit shirts.
He took credit for something yesterday.
Yeah.
You guys will confirm I got the Untuckit line. All right. How are you guys doing?
Oh, well, you know, we're in COVID City. We're just having the time of our lives. It's been 3 great months. And now I went out last night. I was looting till almost 3 o'clock in the morning. But, you know.
I saw a video. It's Matt. I saw a video of you looting that car. I will say this. Have you used COVID? This sounds backhanded, but have you dropped a bunch?
Well, I got to be careful what I say because I know you guys. You still can't curse, right, on the radio? Is that where we are?
No, we're still under. No, but I can dump it out. If you just need to talk like an adult, I can dump it out. You look great.
So yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And by the way, we miss you guys. We always have a great time coming down from Moon Tower. And this year, you know, none of it happened.
Didn't happen.
Well, have you forgiven us yet?
For what this time?
Well, we're all investors in a drink called Mighty Swell Cocktails, and
then
the comedy club stuck it back in our green room, and it does look a lot like just like a water spritzer. And Ron took a drink of it, and in my head I go, I think Ron's sober. And then I said, hey, Ron, it's got alcohol in it, and you, like your eyes, I could tell you're very serious. We'd ruined 30 years, and then I heard you talking about it on the air.
Yeah, I've moved on now. I'm not drinking, but morphine is back in my life. Any kind of opiate altogether. But I always think about you guys as I'm hitting the nods. I'm like, how did I get back here? Oh yeah, now I remember.
Happy to know that we have all 3 invested in an opiates company as well. So we've
good for you
as well.
I've got rubber tubes for people's arms. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. You know Yeah, I'm always surprised when people go, well, I'd be a junkie, but I don't like a needle. I go, that part's, you know, it's over so quick. And then perfect from that point on.
I felt bad about that for real. No, I mean, not joking around, but, you know, we talked to a couple of people. Who am I thinking? Joe DeRosa was going to move into my condo. He was thinking about coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have a lot worse than we do because we're so suburban and spread out, I think.
And we're in denial.
And we're in denial.
Because no one knows anyone that's got it here. You know what I mean? No one.
Is that right?
No one. None of us or anybody that I know has been directly. Maybe Matt.
No, there's somebody in the
been
building.
directly
There's somebody
affected.
in the building that had an in-law who was really bad.
We do, but let's be honest. We do not have a New York City level of infection or concern.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we've been surrounded by death, but it was getting better. You know, we were just about ready to open up when, you know, the latest happened. So, but you would be surprised. I know you guys have been to New York City, but there are so many empty buildings. I should send you some pictures when I would go out at night, but we have to be in by 8 o'clock now, like we're children.
Right.
But you'll see all these buildings. They're the most expensive apartment buildings in the United States, and they're just dark buildings now at night.
Just people fleeing the city, wealthy people fleeing the city, people of means.
Abandoned.
Yeah.
Abandoned.
Yeah, I heard the Upper West Side was like
city.
dark.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Ron, you could go out after 8. It's just going to be a little different.
Hey, Ron, can I recommend a guest that will give you a totally different take on COVID, and you may not have talked to him for a while? And that would be Kevin Brennan. We talked to Kevin Brennan, and several times during the interview, I had to say, as they do in radio speak in the old days, the opinions of Mr. Brennan do not reflect the opinions
I think
of Dudley and Bob with Matt or our advertisers.
We wore out the dump button. We wore out the. I mean, it doesn't work anymore.
You know, but by the way, the Brennan family doesn't even, you know,
right? Oh, yeah.
Except Kevin Brennan, you know,
right? Exactly, exactly. So what's the bigger story right now in New York? Is it the riots or is it the COVID still? Like, we're not hearing any COVID news right now.
Well, that's because, you know, I think the mainstream news stations were really happy to have something else to talk about.
Anything
after
else? Well, they
3
had
months.
Bob and Doug, but they didn't make much out of that.
No. The news sites use
Got
the
an
exact
afternoon.
same. They use the same prep Facebook group that we use. There was nothing in it. They were happy to have something new.
Yeah, well, that you know, that story lasted about a half an hour, and since I grew up with the space program, to me, it looks like in 50 years we've gone backward. I mean, it's not the big kind of launch. We used to go to the moon. You know what I mean? Something used to really happen.
Didn't it look like it was so easy, though? I mean, they have 3 Vizio screens that they run the spaceship off of. There's no button. You remember all the buttons and knobs and switches that had to be...
Switches. Yeah.
Switches. You remember switches? And now they have 3...
Wait a minute. Are y'all talking about the fake switches in '68 from Hollywood?
Oh, right. And now they have 3 Vizio screens and an Untuckit spacesuit.
My line.
I don't know whose line it is, but it's amazing. It's a great. I mean, that's a spacesuit that you could smoke cigars in, and we didn't have that.
It's loungewear.
Yeah.
And you can make it in a 3D printer, apparently.
It looked like minions from Austin Powers to me.
Do you remember when it was it the 50s when men's swimsuits had that little anchor buckle thing in the front? It was made by that designer.
I was just happy because it drove the Tesla stock up $60 yesterday.
Do you guys hear? Do you guys hear from social media? Like yesterday, we couldn't win. Trying to, I don't want to say walk the fence because we weren't. We have opinions.
We were parsing lots of information.
One of my closest friends is Acevedo, the police chief in Houston, and so. But then by the end of the show, I was a cop hater, and then at the start of the show, I was a member of Antifa. Do you guys get feedback like that, or you cover any of that stuff?
Well, see, the big difference here, and I mean, I thought yesterday was one of the most amazing things that I ever saw when those cops were wading into that park. I never thought I'd see anything like that in my life. And then when Trump walked out with the Bible, that I don't know where he got it from. Like he said, it wasn't his Bible, but it was a Bible. And then the bishop. I mean, from a TV point of view, you can't beat it. It's unbelievable. But we don't know whether we're looking at Mussolini or just a TV stunt. It's difficult to find out. It's difficult. Where he says he's going to turn the military on the citizens.
He can't. And I'll give kudos to Greg Abbott today, who's our governor, who I'm not a fan of at all. He's tried to fight gay marriage and Obamacare and all that, but he came out today and said we're not going to call on federal troops and we don't want federal troops. But I was driving in today and I thought, because I grew up religious, and I was sitting there thinking, what person in the world, if you ask me right now, if I show you a Bible, and they go, is that your Bible? I'm going to go, yeah, this is my Bible. I got it when I was 12. I had it through church camp. I don't know another human being that if they were holding a Bible, an agnostic like me or devout, and you said, is that a Bible or your Bible, they would say, it's a Bible. It's like, who says that?
I don't know. Even the way he was holding it was weird.
Don't most people still have their childhood Bibles or a Bible of some kind in their home if they ever participated?
If you're Catholic, you don't have one.
I don't know.
It does, yeah. Well, here's the thing about us when it comes to Trump. And this is Trump's hometown.
Sure.
And I think he only got like 22% of the vote here. You know what I mean? Like, we cannot understand how everybody else fell for this gimmick. It's Christian Finnegan, to me, had the best line. He goes, we always thought of Trump the same way we think of the naked cowboy. You know what I mean? Just this New York weird thing that you don't pay attention to. The fact that people bought into it is stunning to us. I mean, can you imagine you only get like 22% in your hometown when you're running for president? Normally, people would be like, this is great.
We did morning 2018 and morning drive. 2019, actually. But Ron, you mentioned that for us and why we get pushback from both. I know it's been oversaid about Austin that it's a blue pond in a sea of red. But literally it is. I mean, literally, you go down Highway 71 east, and there's a town called Bastrop, and then you get up to Williamson County. It's a little bluer, but there's towns like Taylor and Georgetown and then South Buda. So they're in the listening area. You can't win. You can't win no matter what you say. You're going to get it on social media. I mean, you're going to get hammered from either side.
Well,
because people get mad that you don't think exactly like they're thinking, which is a strange way of being.
But here's what I don't understand as a New Yorker. When you go around the country, obviously you people say about New Yorkers, you say, well, we're obnoxious and we have no morals and we're greedy, and all that is true. But here's the thing. This is the New Yorker you pick to follow through thick and thin. Out of all the New Yorkers, none of you would buy a Lou Reed record, but all of you are saying Trump is my guy. And the fact that he's leaving the country the same way he left Atlantic City, broke and desolate, and who's surprised? Who is surprised?
Mr. Ron Bennington do not necessarily reflect the opinions of KLBJ-FM ownership or advertisers. We'll talk off the air.
Now,
is Gail there?
Yeah, is Gail there?
Yeah, she's here.
I am here.
Let me do this because we haven't really said anything, and I want to make sure people know who we're talking to. Of course, if you're one of our warriors, you've seen Ron at our annual podcast for Moon Tower. But this is the Bennington Show in New York City, Sirius XM Faction Talk. A great interview, by the way, with Ricky Gervais. I don't know how long ago you did that. I heard it in the morning the other day when I'm up now, not doing radio in the morning. And they've just been great to us. There's no reason for a national show to give each of us airtime, even though I humiliated myself. They've put every single one of us on
in their studio
for an hour or two. And it's just super kind, or they really, really suck at getting guests.
No, that's not true.
Over?
Over.
Sounds like there's a delay. We should say over. Gail, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. Things are really great. Really looking bright.
Your little one is, am I wrong, 2?
2-ish. Right?
She's almost 2. She's going to be 2 in just 2 months.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so almost 2. And are you living in the city, Gail?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Okay, so you're in Brooklyn. You're kind of in the heart of everything. What is it like to be a new mom, and then this thing comes along that says, don't touch anything, don't put anything in your mouth, Don't breathe on each other. How are you doing that?
It's absolutely impossible. It's crazy because you cannot tell a kid not to touch things, so you can't tell them not to, hug,
They're not gonna wear a
people.
mask, that's
So
for sure.
you want to know something crazy? She does because
really?
she sees it as a fun accessory. So I lucked out that way.
That's what's also. She probably looks pretty cool. What's also crazy is just like you're a mom, which means you're naturally set to 11 on concern for the health of your child, and then there's no really where to go for respite from the info deluge that we're getting. So,
yeah, exactly. But you know what else I think is true, and I think like obviously this is the case for parents, but it's going to be the case for everyone. I think everybody is going to feel, especially in New York where like the lockdown has been going on so long, a weird post-traumatic stress. Like even when things start to open up here, I think that everyone is going to find themselves a lot more anxious. I don't think everybody's going to go running out and be excited to be out and about yet.
Well, we've got a
yeah.
thing here. Well, the experience that we're having, we've opened up somewhat. I think we're up to 50%, but you go into parts of town, no one's wearing a mask.
It's county by county, though.
There are people that shame you for wearing a mask.
Well,
if you're wearing a mask, you're looking at people that aren't wearing a mask and going, you son of a,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but let's be fair, is what I was talking about before. I live in a red county, Williamson County, and you walk around and, as a Target is maybe 20% of the people are wearing them, but then you come back into Travis, where Austin is proper, and it's 80% of the people are wearing them.
It depends. I see photos from listeners of ours every night. It's mainly younger people who are out at bars, and I don't want to shame people either.
But
I know how I feel as a parent or whatever, but I also remember being in my 20s, and I don't know how it would be to be told stay inside forever and never try to get laid again. I mean, that was the only objective when you're younger, and I don't know how much
but
you can fight.
Do you find yourself getting angry like at a Home Depot when you're looking at a person that doesn't have a mask on in a crowded store and you're going, that mask is not for you, man, that's for me. You're offending, I'm mad at
I think we see less of it. I think the majority of people here in New York, because our numbers were so crushing, you see a vast majority of people wearing masks, even wearing gloves and stuff like that. But I have heard from friends who are outside of the city who say that, now because somehow we've decided that this is a political statement, it's as though you're wearing a bumper sticker instead of a mask.
Right, exactly, 100%.
Well, let's talk about the show, though. What kind of adjustments? Because, Gail, I know Ron's your dad, but you guys aren't in the same apartment, are you? That'd be weird. Or have y'all taken...
It's a studio apartment.
We haven't seen each other for 3 months. Because of this.
You don't see each other during the show, but
no.
SiriusXM hooked you up with the equipment. Sounds great, even over the telephone. So you're not doing Zoom. You're doing probably a Comrex or something like that.
It's an IP Kodak is the name of it. They sent it to us on the Friday and said, we want you to do this on Monday. And I go, for how long? And they go, I don't know, probably a couple days. And that was 3 months ago since we've been in our studio. There's no plans of bringing us back to the studio. You got to remember, in our building, there's probably, 8,000 people in that building, which is one of, an endless amount of, in the middle of that plaza there's probably 500,000 people every single day. So
it changes everything, like trying to book guests. We've just been trying to check in with people that we know occasionally, and then the other part of it is trying to prep for a show. It's tougher. There's less to talk about.
Right.
Over.
Of course, there's only one topic. There's only one topic now.
And, Ron, you were in the middle of like a successful, I would call it a world tour, the Creeps with Kids. And that came to a screeching halt, right? For the time, obviously. And you guys were you were selling out theaters along the Eastern Seaboard. And...
well, we played Boston, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Detroit. I mean, it was really going great. We were getting all these offers. And the last night, the night that it was canceled, we had sold out a theater in Manhattan, and all Bobby had hooked it up, so all these big Yeah, Bobby Kelly had hooked it up, so all these big shots were coming in to see this show, and then boom, it's canceled, and everybody's canceled. Like we're all Ari Shaffir. Like I really wish now I would have said some really, really antisocial things to have a reason to be canceled. I'm going, why didn't I, do things in front of women that they didn't agree to? And then I could have been canceled for a reason.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, are you checking in with comics? I got two I could trade you for one of yours.
Yeah, let's
I'm still waiting on Spade to call, but we've talked to
Kevin
Nealon a couple of times, and then Ron, of course, lives here, Ron White. So let me know if you want to do 10, 15 minutes with somebody.
I talked to Ron White right after his friend and our friend, and I'm sure your friend Vic Hanley passed away.
Oh, yeah.
But that happened very early on in this. And then there's part of you going, like, doesn't it seem like there's been more heart attacks lately as well?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a very, very weird time.
Yeah, and it's just, God, I just remember an O&A episode with Vic on it and Ron on it, and no offense to my friend Ron, but I remember Vic being the shiny one telling a story. We had him on years ago because he was down here, around the Outlaw Comics, and that was a shock. I hadn't seen him in a very long time, but you don't have time to mourn anybody. We lost a good friend just a month and a half ago, and young guy, and it's like, okay, when's the memorial? But there's no memorial. And we're going to have to wait. And when this is all clear, if it ever is, I think we're going to all be going to celebrations and memorials for people for weeks.
Yeah.
Very early on, a friend of ours, Eastside Dave, he lost his dad. And because it was, nobody had been tested, and testing is still so rare of a thing to happen here. But early on, there was no testing. He loses his dad, and then he and his mom can't get closer than 6 feet from each other. So he couldn't even hug his mom the day that his dad had passed away. And there's a million stories like that up here. Just
there's none
horrible,
like that.
horrible
People
stories.
are going to go ahead and do the hugging.
Ronald, I'm shocked you say you still feel like there's just really not a lot of testing going on in the city?
Very, 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 very light. Up to this point.
They certainly make you jump through hoops to do it, too, like even the people I know who have gotten it.
The story down here, because we have friends, comic friends and stuff, that have gone to get tests, and then the results just never come back. They've said, well, they've been lost, or there's been a confusion. And then a lot of things that's been told us is the tests are really needed in New York. That's why we can't get them in Texas. So that was just interesting that that's your take, because I'm not going to say that not everything's being truthful, but it seems untruthful here.
This is kind of a bummer. Let's switch gears before we have to go. What have you guys been watching and enjoying and recommending now that we're all running out of stuff?
Were you disappointed in Space Force like we were?
I never had the opportunity to watch it. We kind of watch the news as if it's like it's a war room here. We're waiting because of the stuff here to see if we spike back up. We were just ready to really open up a little bit, but now we're saying after these crowds, if that doesn't, have another spike. But when you were talking about the young people, and it would be difficult to tell young people to wear a mask or not to fear death or whatever. I remember being young and you couldn't talk me out of smoking angel dust, and that's the single stupidest thing a human being can do. Right. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
There's something beautiful about our 20s. I would love to have that kind of unshakable confidence again in my life. I've reached a point where everything is a concern and everything frightens me, and everything is going to be to my detriment. So I'd love to trade with them one night.
Well, of course, to be dumb again.
I would use it for benefit, not for evil again.
Oh, okay. You gotta. What was the one where the guy thinks he's Rocky? Y'all gotta watch this.
Oh yeah, The Pretender.
You have to watch a documentary called The Pretender.
Is that it?
Where a guy in Philadelphia, his entire life, can't keep a job because he doesn't want to be Sylvester Stallone. He wants to be Rocky Balboa.
24/7, like every second of the day.
And it's only an hour long. The Pretender.
Look, I'm from that area, and you could have pointed at any person in Philadelphia and got the same exact story.
It's actually just a man on the street interview.
Yeah.
We recommend it to Ron, and the next time we talk to him,
Yeah.
kind of boring, guys. I just
Yeah.
Ron, when all this is done, maybe 4 or 5 years from now, when I'm not on the air, can I come back and challenge the 70s guys again? I still feel humiliation.
Yeah, Dale, it's not a
100%.
Dale hasn't felt bad about it.
Bob and I were playing at my house. Bob came to my house for the first time in 10 years this weekend, and we were playing Name That Tune, and I was killing it, and then the humiliation kicked in, so I just got drunk.
I beat the Springsteen guy
You
on
did
Ron's
beat
show.
the
From the
Springsteen
Springsteen
guy.
Yeah.
channel. I feel like I should be program director.
Actually, I think you could be. You know what I mean? That was a big day for you.
It was a big
hey,
day. Big weekend.
Seriously, I love you guys, and some of the best times I've ever had was down there hanging out and doing Moon Tower. All the people down there are great, and we wish you all the best and stay safe. All right, guys.
Let me ask you this: this hotline number, does Bob already have that? And
Yes.
Or do I need to eat this? Because I
don't call when I call his show. I don't call on that
Oh,
line.
okay. Well,
No, that hotline is for us to post on our Twitter.
No. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to call soon, but I get super nervous when I get on, and I talk way too fast. But we love you too, man. And I don't think I don't know if your listeners understand. You know, smaller show, big city, not as big as you guys, of course, but this symbiotic relationship that we have on stage and the things we've done. If anybody ever gets a chance to come to Moon Tower, we get to do it again. And get a plug for us out there. We're Dudley and Bob with Matt in Austin, and we're on TuneIn, and we're on all the radio platforms, iHeartRadio, and we have our own website, KLBJFM.com.
Shout out to Chris Stanley, Vito Calise, Earl Douglas.
Earl. Thank you, Ron.
Guys.
And also, hey, I know they've earmarked September as a possible date for a redo on Moon Tower. I don't know that happens. If it does, I really hope you guys can make it down and we can see you guys then.
Well, we'd have to open an airport here, but there's 3 empty ones. All right, we'll see you soon, guys. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Oh, man, those are always good times in Austin. I love those guys. I love the audience. Everybody, all the New York comics and LA comics love going to Moon Tower. It's a party. It's literally just a party of comics. And then you go out on the street, and there's all your friends have these flags of their faces hanging off all the light posts. It's amazing.
It's
It's
really
surreal.
weird, right?
Yeah. That was kind of bittersweet, man. I really do miss those guys, and I miss those experiences, and truly miss all that great food, you know?
Oh, yeah, the best.
All right, I think we're getting ready to wrap this one up today. It was a weird day, but those guys gave me an extra spark. You know what I mean? It's also weird to hear people that haven't gone through it the same way as us, you know?
Yeah, it is hard to think that the world is different outside of this space right now, because it's such a strange reality we've been living in for so long, and watching things get lifted in other places and kind of hearing about their experiences. It's strange.
Also, I think television could do a better job. You know what I mean? I really I've known very little about what Pittsburgh has been like, or even Seattle. You know, sometimes you hear about the hot spots, but I haven't seen one picture of St. Louis. I don't know. I think tonight I know what I'm doing. I'm watching this show, The Pretender. Moon Tower. That's that should be our next big fun thing to do. Colleen, Litsa, Jim, they throw just the best. It's just the best party. And I always love Maggie doing that thing too. I always look out for her. All right, Vito, how much time we have before the end of the show?
We have about 1 minute left.
Well, thank you guys for today. Thanks for hanging out. I didn't start this show in the best place today, but that was nice to talk with those guys. To end up that
hear
way.
from our friends.
Yeah. By the way, I really, when it comes to like feedback, I don't worry about walking the line. It bores me most days to get into the political talk of it. But yesterday was unbelievable. All right. I guess that's it for us. Chris Stanley, I promise you tomorrow you will get your bread bros up. Earl Douglas, thank you today. You were the person who threw it to dead air, which I think is fitting at the end of the day. And then as long as it takes Earl to say anything, he went rushing into that bit without even truly setting it up. That was hilarious to me. All right, that's it for us, Vito. We're ready to go to the end?
Yes, we are.
Good. We'll be back in here tomorrow. And as always, we appreciate being here with you every day. Again, thanks to our good friends, too, for calling us today. Take care. Stay safe. Stay cool. We'll see you tomorrow.